we have a landline. We don't need to text.
Our Heavenly Father, we praise you and we worship you on this evening when our city sits in governance. We thank you that you have given us able people to govern, people who can disagree without being disagreeable, people who will govern us from their hearts as well as their heads. We thank you, Father, that we are looking into tremendous growth in our city and our county. We ask that we be given wisdom in how to handle that growth and to be receptive and friendly to those who come. And that those who come will be caring about our views historically in our city. We thank you, Father. We praise you, for you have blessed us beyond measure. In Jesus' name, amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alderman French.
Here.
Alderman Anderson. Here. Alderman Bellamy.
Here.
Alderman Hobbs.
Here.
Vice Mayor Missick.
Here.
Alderman Parsley.
Here.
All are present.
I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the November the 7th meeting and Fair Board meeting that night.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes. Any discussion, any corrections or additions? If not, call roll please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Missick.
Aye.
Alderman Parsley.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Correspondence?
Yes. To the City of Manchester, in deep appreciation, to thank you for your kindness and sympathy at a time when it was deeply appreciated. The family of Billy Ron.
Okay, moving on to comments about the citizens. We have 3 ordinances tonight that are second reading and are open for public hearing. If you have comments to make regarding the 3 ordinances, please hold those comments until we get to those ordinances. Ask that you keep your citizen comments to 2 to 3 minutes and only 1 trip to the podium to speak. As a board, we are here to listen to the public comments and not here to answer questions or give our opinions at this time. Citizens' comments, please. All righty. Moving on to mayor's comments. I've already said this before, but happy birthday, Donnie. And just proud that everybody's here and just thank you all for being here and thank you for the prayer. It means a lot. Okay, moving right along to the committee and commissions meeting. Okay, starting with safety.
Safety did not meet November, however, our scheduled meeting is December the 11th at 5 p.m. And just want to report to the board that we've also received 5 of our 7 Durangos that we ordered. We're in the process of receiving equipment to get them equipped and hopefully get on the road probably around the first of the year. So
I saw those today. They look sharp. Finance.
The Finance Committee will not be meeting at the regularly called time in December. There will be a special called Finance Committee meeting on December the 14th and I believe that's scheduled for 4 o'clock, but watch the time in case I have that incorrect. The Finance Committee, when we last met, approved us being able to do an RFP in order to look for insurance brokers and get different options. So the insurance committee actually met this week, and so that should be going to the paper on Friday. And we hope to have the results back on June the 8th and bring it before BOMA at the February meeting for representation for an insurance broker. Also, we're still in discussions about the impact fees and where it will be going, and also, or how it will, what it will fund. And also, starting in January, our meeting will be moving, and our regularly scheduled meetings will be the third Monday of each month at 4 o'clock.
I think it's third Tuesday.
Oh, yes, you're right, it is. What did I say? Okay, yes, thank you, yes, the third Thursday. Tuesday.
Street,
The next street committee meeting is December 14th, and I'm filling in for George, so.
We didn't have a meeting last month, did we?
No.
water and sewer,
Water and sewer is not going to meet in December, but will meet back in January. Highway 55, the project's going pretty decent. The finish line is March 29th, if anybody's interested. Sewer department, we're applying for permits, sludge, and MPDES. And we've got a clarifier out of service and a Baptist out of service.
so did you complete Irish Drive, which was a big project? Is that
Yeah,
complete?
we did some in-house sewer work in Irish Drive. We completed that, but we're gonna do another spot and a block over.
Rec department,
First off, we'd like to thank all the city staff and personnel for helping have the Christmas parade a success. We had 158 entries. Also, thank you to the Manchester Tourism Commission for providing the judges for the parade. Trees of Christmas is happening this week in the A-Right building. It'll be Monday through Saturday from 11 to 6, and then Saturday 1 to 5. This year, we added Pictures with Santa on Saturday from 1 to 3. And then we have our community Christmas luncheon on Tuesday, December the 12th, from 11:30 to 1. All the boards invited to come if you'd like. We're going to have a special call rec commission meeting this Thursday at noon, so our regular scheduled meeting will be canceled this month.
tourism,
Tourism's not going to meet in December. We've canceled that meeting. We'll start back in January.
planning and zoning,
Our November meeting was canceled due to some fumes that were created from the stairwell work over here. So all of the November agenda items were moved to the December agenda. And that December meeting is on Monday the 18th at 5:30 here in Boardroom.
information system,
We didn't have a meeting last month, but Donnie, we don't know if we'll have one this month or not.
Well, we're still working on it.
Yeah.
Get some information.
historic zoning,
There will not be a historic zoning commission meeting this month. And the one in January will not be a regular call. It will be a special call due to a review of the ARC downtown grant applications. That will be advertised when the date is decided.
no resolution. Did I leave anybody out? Be my first. Resolutions, we don't have ordinances.
Ordinances. second reading of an ordinance rezoning property owned by Lloyd Glenn Chapman and Sean Trail on 512 West Taylor Street from R3 to R4, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick. It was tabled on 11/7.
So I'd like to make a motion to take that off the table. Second.
The motion has been made and seconded to take this off the table. Any comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 6-0.
It is a public hearing.
I'll make a motion. Don't we have to open, don't we have to have a motion
Yeah,
and second
yeah,
for
yeah.
the public hearing?
We have a motion and a second to rezone the property of 512 West Taylor Street from R3 to R4. It is a public hearing. Any comments from the public? Any comments from the board? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
No.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-1.
A second reading of an ordinance rezoning property owned by Lloyd Glenn Chapman and Sean Trail on 511 Lynchburg Road from R3 to R4, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick. This matter was tabled on 11/7.
I'd like to make a motion to take that off the table.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to take this off the table. Any comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Do I have a,
I'll make a motion.
Second.
okay, the motion has been made and seconded to rezone the property on Lynchburg Road from R3 to R4. Any comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Oh, it is public hearing, I'm sorry. Any comments from the public? No comments any comments from the board? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
No.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-1.
A second reading of an ordinance rezoning property owned by Mark Willis on Oak Road from R1 to C2, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick. Matter was tabled on 11/7.
I make a motion to take this off the table.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded, the motion to take this off the table is on the floor for discussion. If not, roll please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 6-0.
Do I hear a motion to move the Mark Willis property on Doak Road from R1 to R2?
So moved.
Second.
C2. C2.
C2. R1 to C2.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. The motion is on the table for discussion to move the property from R1 to R2.
R1 to C2.
I need to put my glasses on. R1 to C2. Any comments from the public?
Good evening. My name is Eric Saunders. I don't know if you need my address.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, 249 White Oak Drive. I oppose this because it's moving more into the residential area there. It's like the third tier back,
It's completely surrounded on three sides by homes. How is that going to affect the neighborhood? We're already encroaching in neighborhoods with this kind of stuff, so I just don't see the point in it. There's a blank lot in front of it that's already commercial. Why should we be going more commercial down Doak Road, which is already a nightmare to get in and out of? You're going to create traffic, you're going to create light problems, you're going to create light pollution, more noise pollution. We already have enough of that as it is there with the interstate and everything else that's going there. So I would just say it's probably not a good idea to do that for this particular lot. If y'all would just reconsider that and see how it's going to affect the neighborhoods that are there. If you do approve it, at least think about putting some kind of restrictions for lighting and traffic flow and what kind of business you put in there that's going to affect the neighborhood. Thank you.
Any more comments from the public? Any comments from the board?
I believe that Ron Jones is a commercial lot. If I'm not mistaken, that Jones is a commercial lot on one side. Yeah.
Any more comments from the board? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 6-0.
Second reading of an ordinance to revise Title 14, Chapter 12 of the Manchester Municipal Code, Stormwater Ordinance, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
Do I hear a motion to approve the change of this order?
Motion.
Do I hear a second?
A second.
It has been moved and seconded. The motion is as stated. Any comments from the board? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Moving into old business, the job description for the chief of staff, project manager, chief operating officer, and city manager. I hear a motion to approve any of these.
I would make a motion that we approve chief of staff.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the job description for the chief of staff. Any discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-1.
Since we got a motion to approve the chief of staff, any of the other job descriptions, do I hear a motion to approve? If not, moving right along. Okay, now we're going to discuss the remodeling of the Manchester City Schools and the land acquisition. Would you like to step up?
All right, thank you again for working with us. Really, I look at the remodeling of the Manchester City Schools. I'm not sure that, I mean, we've talked about that a little bit, but as far as any kind of action, I'm not sure that we're in a place where we want to do that. What we're really looking at, and we'll talk about that anytime, but what we're really looking at is the possibility of the land acquisition, the 85 acres at Batesville. And worked with the city of Manchester Attorney Mr. Johnson, met with the mayor, met with the city school board attorney last week and had a good conversation about that. We're still working with Batesville, and our request is still that we take that 85 acres at $35,000 an acre and split that cost between the city of Manchester and Manchester City Schools. That would prepare the city for educational growth as well as other possible growth that will happen. And we worked with Batesville. They are willing. They've been good partners. And so our request is for the city of Manchester to purchase half. And we would go through, there would be a board that would oversee that property for anything that would happen. And but Manchester City Schools, we're growing, and the city's growing. So this is an opportunity for all of us to be prepared for the future. That's where we are.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I want my motion to be elaborated through Dr. Bond's words of, we'll accept the deal, we will pay half of the acquisition based on the numbers you discussed with Faith. And I think it probably should be put in on our part that the board, the oversight board, probably needs to be in the motion as well.
We'd like to, Mr. French, if I may, there's been a conversation about this, the financing being split between 2 budget years. So the first payment would actually be $750,000, and then the next one would come in July at $750,000 from each entity. Originally, Batesville had looked at, or Hildenbrand had talked about maybe charging interest. We went back to them and pushed back on that. So the offer is on the table regardless of the amount of time spent to pay, as long as it's in within the 2 budget years.
So are we paying interest?
No.
No interest.
No interest.
And it benefits them because they don't have to pay capital gains back. So they probably be kind and also.
It works both ways.
Yeah.
They've been really good to work with. That property is going to sell. They would never sell it as for another industry. That property will sell. So it's a wonderful opportunity, and Batesville has been good to this community. So I appreciate them, the openness, the conversations that we've had. It's been a very good process.
So when we go in and it's 50-50, we have to set up a board to oversee that. Is that how that works?
I don't think we have to set up a board. From my discussions with Mr. Cagle, which is the city school board attorney, who's done a lot of these, there's 2 options really, and maybe some sub-options of one. But one option is to set up an authority between the 2 governmental entities. Each appoints board members and it operates, and you hate to use the word like a PBA, but in some aspects it operates like a PBA. It's a separate statute with different requirements, but it's basically a joint governing board that operates to govern the use of the property as set out in the charter for the building authority. So the 2 governmental entities would, I guess, for lack of a better term, negotiate what the terms of that authority's charter is and how each authority could utilize and or control some or all of the property. The other option would be, obviously, to put it in one of the entity's names with something in an ordinance or some other adopted resolution that states, it's that this entity's given this much money and this entity's given this much money under the understanding that it's going to be put in this one governmental entity's name, but it could be used for whatever that is delineated the use of the property is for. Mr. Cagle, my understanding, was working with Batesville, but also going to put together those options, I guess, for future consideration.
I'll remove that from my motion and let it just be part of future discussions. I just want to make a motion on the property so there's property concealed.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I will also add to the comment that PBAs are not dirty words in every other progressive city that uses them the correct way. So just to get back that narrative.
Didn't mean it to be that.
No, I just, just saying, they're used effectively.
So, what is your motion? Would you restate your motion?
My motion is to fund 50% of the property acquisition based on the numbers that we negotiated, City of Manchester schools, and basically to support 50% of that acquisition.
Does there still need to be, well, do I hear a second on his motion?
I'll second.
Okay.
Yeah, there's plenty the finance committee needs to figure out.
On the finance, it did come out of the finance committee with positive recommendations, 3 to 0, I believe.
So, in this, as far as what it needs to be written up, if some of it needs, with Batesville, they specified that it can't be sold. If you have extra, you can't sell it to another business. Am I?
Correct. Not to another industry or business, correct.
But if hard times hit and the school vouchers and we lost a lot of students and had to sell some of that would need to be worked out how we work that out. Going into it, it will be looking at it, if we don't have this PBA type, it will be 50-50 how it's decided to use the land.
We thought that the school system would need about 70 acres and that the city of Manchester, for municipal purposes, growth, would have 15. And, depending on what the community does and what the growth brings us and needs. But if you're looking at, much like our neighbors with we have referenced Rutherford County. Rutherford County is building 3 schools on one site right now. And so this would not quite allow 3 if we went 70 and 15, but it would allow 2. And that would be up to the city board as well as the board mayor and aldermen to determine what would be the best use of what grade structure that would be in the future.
So we're not specifying 1570 right now.
Yes, ma'am, we're specifying 70 and 15.
Did the 70, when you brought the plans in, did it have a high school in it?
No, ma'am. It has a middle school. And on the other side, it says future educational site.
But would that be part of that 15 acres that?
If the city decided to build a high school, that would be something that the Manchester City Board and the Board of Mayor and Aldermen would decide. There could also be an elementary school built on that site. Or it could, if the growth necessitated, the middle school could expand. But at this point, realistically, someone's going to build a high school at some point. Hopefully it'll be Manchester City Schools, but I'm not here asking for a high school. I'm asking for the city of Manchester to acquire property that will be prepared for whatever growth comes our way.
So going into it, we're not specifying it's 15. I'm not for a high school. I'm really not.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I feel like we do whatever we can to keep up with the growth.
And I'm not asking for a high school. I'm asking for land for the future.
So it's not being specified. And I was a school teacher. I support schools. But we're not specifying it's 1570.
We're specifying it's 1570. We're not saying that it's for a high school.
But 70 acres is going to be for schools.
70 acres. The 70 acres will be for schools.
In the initial purchase will be for schools.
And that's what Budget and Finance passed as well.
But I'm just saying my opinion is if we're going 50-50, I feel like for the future board and future growth that hopefully this board will always lean towards the schools. But why do we have to specify this going in?
Because they need for 2 campuses, correct? Is there's 2, the initial plan was for 2 campuses, a middle school and an elementary school. I don't care if it's for a middle school, elementary school, college, university, whatever deal you work with somebody, high school. I I don't care, but the initial plot was for elementary school and middle school. You need at least that much acreage.
We need a middle school and future. But one thing that goes into this property is also athletic fields. So if you have a middle school, you're going to have soccer fields, you're going to have baseball. We're in a situation right now where Westwood plays at the city park. And that is not the most convenient or conducive opportunity for our kids. You can go into the gym at Westwood Middle School for a basketball game. We literally have bleachers on the stage so that the kids can sit there. When we played Cannon County to start the year, it was standing room only. So the football stadium is much the same. And the athletic facilities are not that's not even in the conversation right now, but that property could eventually be used for that.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Well, you go first.
Why are we talking about all this? We just want to buy a piece of property.
What? I want to entertain this question.
I mean, without this property, there's no step that it could be 50-50 and
This looks like
It don't make any difference if we buy that piece of property and the new school board comes in here and they want to put a junkyard in there, they can do it. We need the property. We need to buy the property. And this discussion we're having now is a planning stage that comes later on, way later on. All we need to do tonight is vote to buy this property.
Let's move in the terms, which I'm going to ask. Why are you extending the 15 acre chest? Is that just to make it more feasible for us to fund half of it? Because I would be for giving you all 85 acres. Because I don't see the functionality purposes for us to do this. We should give it to you, and if there's an opportunity to invest into something later, then we'll approach it and say, hey, might we take a few of those acres that have not been developed over there? I would actually amend my motion, unless you have a good reason, I would amend my motion to give you all 85 acres. And we pay for half of it.
So to answer that question, when the conference session first began, I knew that there had been some conversation about the need for possibly a police station or a fire station. And this is a property that would, so in my mind, if the city of Manchester needs to build a new police station, and it's beside a middle school, that's the safest school in the state. So that was the reason. It's not as I'm not trying to dangle a carrot. At the end of the day, the city of Manchester owns Manchester City Schools.
I'm going to make my motion that all 85 acres go to the school. If we want to build a police department up there, we'll approach you about it and ask about it. And I'm sure you guys will be agreeable. And that way we don't have to worry about this board. We don't have to worry about these hula hoops. We can just buy the property. Be done.
Well, the only problem I have with that is we need to stick kind of with what we've been talking about, and we've talked about the 15 acres set aside for some city fund.
Wait a minute, we hadn't gotten a second on this motion.
Oh, I'm gonna shut up and maybe we won't get one.
Okay, I'm going to rescind my first motion. I'm going to make a second motion. And the only language change I'm going to make is that all 85 acres go to the city schools initially. And if there's ever an opportunity for any future investment at the city schools, in our motion, we're going to ask that they be lenient and work with us on that. But as far as right now, I don't see it in creating an imaginary structure. So my motion will be for all 85 acres to go to schools.
You rescinded the first motion?
Rescinding the first motion.
Okay,
That's my second
so
motion.
now you're rescinding the second motion,
No, I'm making the second motion.
this being third.
Fifth, sixth, whatever. My motion is that we give all the property to the schools. And we-
Rescinding both the.
Okay, rescinded 2, 1, and 2. So I have no second.
Do I have a second on it?
There's no second, I'll make a motion that we buy the property under the 70-15 plan that we talked about.
I have a motion and a second to buy the property at 50, paying 50% of it. And 15 acres goes to the city of Manchester and 70 goes to the city schools.
Well, if you get technical about it, then all 85 goes to the city of Manchester, but we're just designating 15 acres to use for something other than a school.
If needed.
If needed.
Exactly.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to purchase the property and give 70 acres of land to the city schools and 15 to Manchester. Any more discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French. Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, thank you all. Don't, hold on, I do have a question. Okay, we've got overcrowded classrooms right now. What is the plan?
Okay, so the planning, we talked about planning. My board has a work session for February the 9th and 10th. We've already been working with an architect. So there are a couple of options out there. One is a new school. Realistically, that's a big undertaking. But I will tell you that right now, Westwood Middle School, had the conversation today, we won't be able to literally get all of the students through the serving line in the cafeteria next year with the number of enrolled students right now, coming from 5th to 6th grade. So we will have a mobile cart. We will also, next year we can piece together classrooms and make it work, but in year 2, we will need at least 2 portables, if not 3. So at that time, basically we're coming, probably looking at the possibility of having to add on an addition to Westwood Middle School that would have classrooms and a cafeteria, an eating space. It would be a new kitchen, actually. The kitchen would turn into the cafeteria. At that point, you're looking at, so let me go ahead and let me finish Westwood and then I'll come to another place. We also have, that would take care of the growth short term. So you're looking 5-6 years.
Or Westwood?
For Westwood Middle School. If the growth continued, at that point, there's a third phase. If the growth stabilized and did not continue, then there is the possibility of a gymnasium or other additions to Westwood Middle. If the growth were to continue, let's just say that the funding, the revenue sources increase, and the city is in a place where we could build a new school, we would come in, the board, I may not be here at that point, but I can see the board coming and saying we would like to put a new middle school on the property that we're calling Batesville. What that would do, that would allow possibly if the city board chose to do so, 4th and 5th graders to move to Westwood, what is now Westwood Middle School, to utilize the resources that we would use in the current addition. I will tell you, Westwood Elementary right now is at full capacity. I'm trying to work with an architect as well as with the fire marshal. We still have the original gym from Westwood Elementary School. We have a gym class in there, and we have the FRC program that works out of there. If there's any way for it to work architecturally and safety-wise, we could possibly get 3 classrooms out of that gym. I would have to find a still place for FRC. The 215 East 4th Street would serve nicely for our FRC to go in. So we're looking at the big picture. Bottom line is, based on what little I know about current funding, the city of Manchester might be in a place to build a new school. But we may be in a situation where the Board of Education can come and say, we would like to add these classrooms, and the board may not be able to do that. But by buying the land, we have whatever happens, we have the opportunity to put new growth there. But nobody, the Manchester City School Board, I don't see ever putting board mayor and aldermen in a situation where we can't all work together and be successful. So ultimately, we're probably looking at additions to Westwood Middle, some retrofitting at Westwood Elementary, and holding on tight to see what happens in our city. We rolled in 4 today, non-English speakers. It is a common occurrence.
What about College Street?
College Street is in good shape because the city went and we worked together at College Street. We built 6 classrooms. So I have a little growth room there right now. But right now, when you look at K1 and 2, you're looking at 200 kids in those classes, each class. We're used to about 120 in a class. So when those kindergarten, first, and second graders get to middle school, we've got to be ready.
And I know it's going to cost a lot of money, and I do sympathize with, unless the ship comes in with.
Well, we got to hope that ship comes in, but I'll tell you, people are moving here for a reason. This is a great place to be. We're blessed to be in Manchester, and we're going to do the best we can with what we have. And I appreciate y'all. I do. I'm excited for Manchester.
And I hope you understand that, like we had that conversation, it's not that I don't want to, I'm concerned about the overcrowding in the schools, but I'm also concerned about the roads and, you know, there's a lot that has come along.
Yeah. I too understand the roads, the sewer. I've lived here all my life. This is where I call home. This is where I'll die. And I'm anxious to see where we go together. Thank you.
At this time, thank you, Dr. Vaughn. Okay.
Mayor, before we get into new business, I'd like to finish up some old business. I'd like to make a motion to reconsider the land use plan from last month. I don't know exactly, Craig, what I need to say to do that, but
You had a vote last time that did not approve it. So I think somebody has to make a motion that voted for the winning side to reconsider.
and I just did.
A second.
So the motion has been made and seconded to bring up the vote for the land use plan. Any discussions? Not, call roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Aye.
Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 6-0.
I'll make a motion to adopt it.
Second.
Any discussion on adopting?
That requires, does it require 2 positive
Yes.
votes? Okay, well then the TCA that I mentioned earlier, hopefully I'll find that before the next meeting and bring that for you guys. Regardless, I'm not going to vote for this because I think whether the TCA requires it or it's just best practices, I think that this is a very wide-ranging plan and I would like to have seen a professional planner involved in it. And also I'm concerned about the process that we've had. Those are my reasons.
So a motion has been made and seconded to adopt it. Any more discussions on that? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
No.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 4-2.
Moving right along to new business. Any new business?
New business, I got something I want to bring up. I sat here and thought, and I've actually, I want to make a motion that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen in the city of Manchester gives a minimum of $5,000, preferably $10,000, to the Coffee County Rescue Squad to get them through, just to help. They'll use the money wisely. And I'd like that to be done immediately. I don't want them to get a check in January. I want them to get a check 4 weeks out if this passes. And I'm gonna make a motion that we give them $10,000, and if you don't want to vote for that, then you pick a number and I'll vote for it.
I'll second Bob's motion.
Okay. The motion has been made to give the rescue squad $10,000
Yes, ma'am.
and seconded. Any discussion on this?
We'll have to have a budget amendment,
We add it to the budget amendment.
so you can't do it next week. Right.
Well, we can, and then the budget amendment will be passed with the other things, because with the board voting on it, they will then vote possibly for the commission.
The budget amendment can come anytime between now and July 1.
That's correct.
Gotcha.
I'll just say, when I brought it up earlier, I still would like to see that go through the budget process, and they're going to need a more significant amount of investment, so just hope that we don't let this be it.
No, I'm behind, this is not my intention.
And we should at least get a calendar for that.
And we've had this before, we started pushing this through finance so that there's a pause and we've had other things that we.
I respect that. Does the Finance Committee see this as different, though? I just feel like it might be a little bit different criteria. I do think that something like this should go through the Finance Committee first, obviously.
Well,
Is it urgently that
Yes.
they need it right now?
yes. The thing about it is, the Finance Committee is sitting on this board right here, and if they don't want to do it, vote no.
I mean, I'm just bringing this up because we have had things that it kind of has a pause, but this is emergency, a desperate situation.
We don't have time to pause. You'll stay over and write the check tonight, but we'll wait on you tomorrow.
The motion has been made and seconded that we give the $10,000 to the rescue.
Coffee County Rescue Squad.
Tomorrow. Right?
As quick as we can get them. Because they've got some projects underway that don't have a lot of time to complete.
It's by the end of the week, okay?
It's what?
It's by the end of the week, okay?
Yeah,
Got to check by the end of the week.
I mean, don't take long to write a check.
I know, we gotta get all the paperwork signed and routed through, so we can't just cut a check with all the proper documentation.
I understand that, but you got 8 hours to get documentation, but if it takes you to the end of the week, that'll work. But I think it could be done a little quicker, but.
I didn't say it takes that long, I'm just saying we have up to that long.
Okay. Any more discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 6-0.
Also, items for the board. Ron?
I don't have anything other than with this land use. I appreciate the committee that put this together. Again, I think a lot of what they did is a reflection of the conversations that's had on this board, and I just think it's a good plan. I support it so long as we don't have to have a certified planner, then I'll support getting a certified planner. I think it's thoughtful. It's Good job.
Bob?
Don't get me started, I said enough. Come on.
It's your opportunity to say one last word.
I love everybody.
Thank you. Joey?
I just want to thank everybody on the school board, and then also with the land use plan. I think there's a lot of hard work that goes into a lot of planning, and it seems that at least we're starting to go down the path of figuring out how to plan for our future versus working from behind the 8 ball. So thank everybody that does that. Of course, from the police, the fire, thank you guys, and everybody have a good Christmas.
It's a great little town, and we've got some great people that work in it. And everybody's already said what I'm thinking. I mean, I appreciate it. That was the best Christmas parade that I have ever seen. I bet there was people here from Murfreesboro, man. I mean, there was 5,000 people going there. That was wonderful. And you guys at the planning commission, you guys did an awesome job with that. I know it's taken a while, but you have persevered, and we've done. You guys have done well. Phil is doing a good job with the sewer. Everybody's doing a great job, and everybody's happy, and I'm happy, and I want to wish all of y'all a Merry Christmas.
Happy birthday, boy.
I can't have much too, Morris. I'm telling you, but thank each and every one of you for the job y'all do. And again, Bill, Adam, y'all's cars, they look good. It's good to see them out there. And Joey and the board, thank y'all for y'all's work and dedication on trying to move us forward. Sometimes it gets it gets confused. We complicate things up pretty bad. You know, thank all y'all for doing it. And y'all have a Merry Christmas.
With that, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and thank you. And Joy, you know I have been concerned about this overcrowding schools with the growth we've already had. I mean, it's just, we should have been probably impact fees and a long time ago, but we've come. Who would have guessed? But anyway, I just wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and those cars do look good out there, and the Christmas parade was great. Thank y'all for the hard work, and I guess next time we'll meet all together, it'll be 2024. God bless you. With that, do I have a motion to?
You got a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.